Happy Tuesday, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. Today is actually my birthday, and we got a lot to talk about in the weather department with several rounds of severe storms over the next 2 days. And then a very intense storm system will be impacting the Northeast heading up into late this weekend, going into the Monday timeframe. So let's start off with the overall satellite picture and show you what we're talking about as this powerful low pressure center is diving into the Rockies here. They do have winter weather advisories as well as winter storm warnings out here with some heavier snows, especially west of the Denver area, but then much needed rain is really going to be breaking out across portions of Kansas, well into the Oklahoma area, and then further south, that cold front entered all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico, but now it's actually retreating as a warm front, and that is going to be the culprit over the next 2 days. That's going to bring several rounds of severe storms. So let's break this thing down for you and take a look at the overall dew points, because it's plenty moist down here across portions of Florida. Man, they had some big hail the other day down there in Florida. Some areas got up to 3 inches in diameter hail. Very rare to see for that area, especially around the Tampa area. But it's all along that stalled cold front is backing up as a warm front. You can see the dew points there surging down there in Corpus Christi. That's going to be lifting northbound over the next several hours into the afternoon time frame, and mainly going to be areas into central Texas as well as into west Texas, increasing those dew points right there around the 60 range. That's going to be enough to create that instability with that cold air aloft that's going to be coming in out west. So let's take a look at the overall setup on the rain department, because this is going to be some beneficial rains right along that boundary from that low pressure center that's going to be diving southeast. So we've got slight risk for heavier rainfall, really encompassing a good part of southern portions of Kansas, but especially almost the entire state of Oklahoma. This is welcome rain in that state, because you've been missed out on so many of these storm systems. This isn't going to be severe, folks. This is all just beneficial rain heading up into that region. But further south, yes, we've got to be looking out for some stronger thunderstorms later on this afternoon. So let's take a look at the setup here. As the warm front is going to be lifting up from the South Texas into Central Texas, tapping into that warm sector, as that jet will be screaming across, the atmosphere should start to overturn into the heat of the afternoon. So we do have a slight risk for severe weather, and some of those that do actually form along that dry line here could turn severe fairly quickly. We're talking some of those large hail type variety, essentially basically west of the Fort Worth area, literally west of Weatherford, bound down here into the Abilene area, from Wichita Falls to Childress, further south into Central Texas. You got to be on high alert right along that dry line as it gets active into the heat of the afternoon. Further out east and towards the Metroplex, it's more of a conditional risk. I'm not really that concerned about severe storms today, but definitely more concerned tomorrow. We do have an isolated tornado threat if storms do form along that dry line out there in West Texas. So definitely be concerned if things get going later on this afternoon with those supercells. Some of those supercells could be rotating as well and have some tornadoes that could be associated with them. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily content on this channel. I'm almost up to 174,000 followers, so I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. So if you hadn't subscribed already, just hit the subscribe button. I do daily forecast on this channel, plus go live during impactful events, which I will be going live tomorrow for Wednesday's setup. So let's talk about that setup. So here's the overall radar depiction for today first. So as that boundary comes in from Colorado, heading into western portions of Kansas, back into the Texas Panhandle, all of really Oklahoma gets inundated. Yes, further south, it's a little bit more of a conditional risk, but that if storms do pop in that warm sector, that's the ones that are going to be those isolated, severe, discrete supercells that could turn severe quickly and have those large hail producers and possibly some quick spin-up tornadoes down there in that region into West Texas. So heading into tomorrow, it's all about the warm front. So as the warm front continues to surge a little bit further north, so now it's going to be basically pinwheeling across and reaching all the way up into the Red River, basically southern Oklahoma. That puts all that region in the warm sector, essentially in the mid 60s, upper 60s dew point. As the dry line will be getting a little bit closer, you've got colder air aloft that's going to be coming in. Here's that low pressure center diving down here from the Rockies. I mean, we're talking some heavier snows, basically essentially west of the Denver area. But there's the low pressure setup around the Texas Panhandle headed into Wednesday afternoon with, again, more heavy rain that's going to be traversing across Oklahoma. But further south, all the ingredients are starting to come together with the cold air aloft, with that low pressure center that's going to be diving in from the northwest to the southeast. You've got higher dew points within the warm sector around North Texas. And you got all the ingredients coming together for a widespread severe weather outbreak heading up into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They do actually upgraded this to an enhanced risk for tomorrow. So it basically encompasses the entire area of the Metroplex, essentially from West Texas into North Texas, all up into Central Texas, and heading into East Texas. So the warm front essentially stops right along the Red River. So north of that warm front into Oklahoma, they're just getting that beneficial rain. But within that warm sector, we've got to be concerned about all three modes of severe storms. And there is one mode, which your hail mode, which could be some of those very large hail producers, if not, some golf ball, maybe some ping pong, even some tennis ball size hail can't be ruled out in this type of atmosphere as things really get going down here into the Stephenville area, back into Graham, all the way as far north as Gainesville and to Sherman, encompasses all of Dallas and to Fort Worth. It's going into the Denton area, and then fishtailing across into portions of East Texas. And there's your tornado threat, which again, I think this actually gets upgraded by the time we get closer to tomorrow's event. I'm really starting to get concerned about a significant severe weather outbreak unfolding across North Texas tomorrow afternoon. And this could be a peak heating event. And this is where I'm going to be going live and doing live coverage, probably starting around 3 or 4 o'clock. I mean, the timing is a little bit uncertain exactly when this is going to start, but it looks to start right along that 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame and heading up into the early evening event. And there's your rain prospects for your Wednesday. So again, heavy rain will be traversing across Oklahoma. That now will be extended into portions of western Tennessee, getting all of Arkansas into the action. And then, of course, further south into the Metroplex with that nasty squall line that will be coming across in the heat of the afternoon. And then further south, a little bit lighter rain amounts into central Texas. And that'll be on the day on your Wednesday time frame. But look at the satellite, folks. I mean, this is the latest, simulated satellite from the high resolution guidance as things start to erupt and explode over the Metroplex with towering supercell thunderstorms into the heat of the afternoon. So we've got a high impact event across North Texas that is deeply concerning. Everything's really starting to come together to look like we could be looking at several hours of really intense supercell thunderstorms within this region. But heading into Thursday, things start to calm down, getting into Oklahoma, getting into North Texas, and now that moves across into South Texas, moves into Louisiana, moves into portions of western Tennessee here into Mississippi. These are going to be a little bit more on the marginal risk side. So I'm not really concerned about particularly this day heading up into Thursday as things start to kind of wind down. But we have another fast moving system. Things are rapidly changing in a big way. We've got another fast moving system that's going to be coming across North Texas, getting into Central Texas. So things could start to erupt again. And a lot of the same areas that got hit, going to be hit tomorrow on Wednesday, could be hit again on Friday with a very quickly moving system. And then a stronger cold front they'll be trailing behind this quick moving system. So here's the preliminary setup for Friday. I think it originates coming out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and then comes across and dives into South Texas. That'll be on your day on Friday. Again, I think it's a very quick moving system, and then that will pinwheel across and impact portions of the southeast, especially in areas of Georgia, back into the Carolinas, into northern portions of Florida coming up on your Saturday. And there's the setup as we go into Sunday. So Sunday, we have that same system continue to pinwheel across, more heavy rain coming in for the Florida Panhandle into Georgia. We have another bona fide low pressure center, very cold air for this time of year. Look at the 540 line dropping so far south. Again, this is very unusual. We're talking late April into last day of April. More colder air continues to pull in from Canada with those negative AO and negative NAO in place. But this time we've got a very intense low pressure center that'll be coming in from the southeast and really rapidly intensify, and almost looks like a possible nor'eastering, but it's not going to be snowing with this type setup, but it's going to be very windy for sure as this low pressure center starts to rapidly deepen down to a 985 as we head into Sunday, late Sunday night into the overnight hours. That's going to be coming up the eastern seaboard with intense rainfall and some intense winds along with it. And it looks like it could max out as far south of the 980 millibar range of 978. So this would be a very powerful system heading up into late Sunday, going into Monday timeframe. Again, with very heavy winds, we're talking 50, 60, maybe even 70, could be as high as maybe isolated areas. 80 miles per hour is definitely not rolled out with this very dynamic system that's going to be coming across in several inches of rain in a quick matter of time. And there's your overall potential wind gust going into the northeast, heading up into late Sunday, heading into Monday timeframe, as we got these spokes of energy that will be coming up along the eastern seaboard and then moving inland. So yes, all these areas could see a widespread high impact event, high wind threat, several inches of rain, and very intense lightning with this particular system as well. So here's the setup and kind of the breakdown for the next 7 days. So there's not much going to be happening out west. The only things that are going to be happening is a lot of heat that's going to be really starting to build. I mean, you've been kind of rainy, you've been colder. Now it's basically flipped around on you, and that ridge is going to be building across a good part of the Pacific Northwest, back into California, the desert Southwest. It's going to be high and dry, and you really start to heat up in a big way, especially towards the Phoenix area, topping out over 100 degrees. You could be looking at 103, 104 by the time we head into Sunday, and Death Valley could be over 110. They're topping out like 112 degrees. So summer almost like comes on with a vengeance out west, while much of the central and eastern 2/3 remains kind of more or less unstable and basically colder than usual for this time of year. But underneath that, again, underneath the ridge, it's pretty much high and dry. There's not much precipitation that's going to be squeezed out of that type of atmosphere. So there's not much going on besides heat out west. But the main instability is going to be really starting to set up shop along the portions of the Rockies where it's going to be originating as a heavier snowfall event with those winter storm warnings in place right now. And then things will really start to get active, diving into those drought-stricken areas of Kansas, all the Oklahoma region. Look at that widespread 3 to 5 inches over the next week. So, and then higher amounts further south within that warm sector into North Texas, and portions of Central Texas could pick up several inches of rainfall. And then as that system really starts to come across, you've got that low pressure center centered over portions of, say, the Michigan area. And then you have that other low pressure, and all these kind of phase together with intense rainfall over the next week, with a good widespread 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches is definitely not out of the question, draped across a good part of the southeast, all of Tennessee, in through West Virginia, through the Carolinas, up to the Mid-Atlantic, and especially into the Northeast, with that possible, somewhat nor'easter with a very intense low pressure that's going to be coming in for Sunday into Monday timeframe. of next week. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely stay tuned for an update for tomorrow morning, and then live coverage starting into tomorrow afternoon for a significant severe weather event that could unfold. So catch me next update while I protect you before and after the storm.